Warning, the following podcast contains adult language, themes, and situations. Also, the film we're about to talk about is going to be spoiled thoroughly. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
A few years ago, long after we started this show, I stumbled upon a Reddit thread where someone had taken the same journey that we're currently on of watching every Nicolas Cage performance, where they proudly announced that they had finished the entire catalog. Then I noticed a comment that asked, "But what about Brubaker?" Intrigued, I did some research and found several mentions of Nicolas Cage appearing as an uncredited extra at the tender age of 16 in this Robert Redford film from 1980 about corruption in the Arkansas prison system. My first thought was, wow, that tracks that they'd put a 16-year-old in the penitentiary in Arkansas. And my second was, I have to watch this film to see if I can spot him. So come along as we take a brief look at a film Nick may or may not actually be in, Brubaker.
Okay, let's run.
I'm like a prickly pear.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat?
A-hole.
Porker, how'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beat until you pissed blood?
Welcome to One Cage at a Time, the show where we break down every single Nicolas Cage movie, one film at a time. Here are your hosts, Patrick, Vince, and Nigel.
The new warden of a small Arkansas penitentiary poses as a prisoner to find out just how deep the corruption goes within the prison. What he finds is a tale of abuse, exploitation, and murder that he's nearly powerless to stop since the corruption goes to the highest levels of government.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your stars.
Brubaker stars the legendary Academy Award-winning actor Robert Redford, features the very first big screen performance of Morgan Freeman, stars Running Man, Midnight Run star, and Live and Let Die Bond villain Yaphet Kotto, I don't know, I'm sorry. Coen Brothers regular M. Emmett Walsh, and of course, hidden somewhere in this film like Waldo with an uncredited role as a 16-year-old prisoner whose involvement in this film may or may not be just an internet rumor, Academy Award-winning actor Nicolas Kim Coppola, better known as Nicolas Cage.
It's time for the main event. Time to break down the film one scene at a time.
I'm kind of sad because this is the only time we've ever gone to Arkansas. And I can't count it because
You can't find him anywhere in there.
spoilers, I can't find him in the film. I don't think he's in it. And internet sleuths who are much more dedicated than I have looked and have not been able to find him. I found a couple pictures of him, of someone in the background who resembles Nicolas Cage that I'll send you guys as we wrap up the breakdown here, but no confirmed sighting.
I mean, it makes sense. He was an extra. He was probably there, but who's going to know?
Yeah. And I don't know,
they
like,
did or didn't include a shot of him even.
Yeah. So, like, I've found a few, I found a ton of references to him being in this film, but all of them start from like one article. They're all like referencing back to one article that doesn't seem to have any kind of sources or anything like that. So I don't even know if he's actually in it. Maybe somebody saw the same guy that I saw and was like, "That's Nicolas Cage." And it's like, no.
Well, that would be the question we'd ask him if we ever got to interview him.
It would make sense though, because, Francis Ford Coppola and Robert Redford were friends. So I don't know. Anyways,
did they film it in California?
Arkansas.
They filmed it in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little weird because he lived in California at the time, right? So it'd be a little weird for him to travel out to Arkansas just to be in an extra.
Yeah.
even though he was 16, but.
Well, who knows? I mean, I guess I didn't really deep dive too much. It might have been filmed in California. Who the fuck knows? Everything's filmed in California, but it really felt like Arkansas. But maybe that's just because they really set up the incest and stuff in the film, and the rape and all that.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Oh, I love Arkansas. Great place. Brubaker was released on June 20th, 1980, and was directed by frequent Paul Newman collaborator Stuart Rosenberg, with a budget of $9 to $13 million. One of those weird Hollywood math budgets. By the way, I'm just adding this into the breakdowns so that we don't have to have a dedicated quick facts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Grossed $37 million. Actually made a decent chunk of change. Just a quick note that we will not be including box office results for films that Nick is not 100% confirmed to be in for these bit part films. Like I said, spoilers, I could not find concrete confirmation that Nick is even in this movie. Even going frame by frame in the crowd shots at the end of the movie, couldn't find him at all. Found a couple that might be him, but I don't know. Also, I could not find him in The Outsiders, which we'll be doing episode after next. And that's a film that he's actually credited in, apparently. So,
all right, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, Brubaker was filmed in Ohio. Which is even
okay.
Less,
Same thing.
Weirder than, he'd travel out to Ohio to be a extra in random crowd shots.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's starting to feel like maybe it.
Unless
it
the Coppolas were vacationing in Ohio and happened to be around, I feel like they would just get normal local people to be.
I feel like maybe some of the set stuff would have been shot in LA though, at the studios.
I think the large prison scene has to be the one that they would have had him in the background of, but that had to have been filmed at the prison that they were filming in Ohio. Yeah. Quick fact before we get rolling on the breakdown here. The film is actually a dramatized account inspired by the real-life efforts of prison reformer Thomas O. Merton, as depicted in the book Accomplices to the Crime, the Arkansas Prison Scandal. So they took some liberties, and I don't think the whole thing with like Robert Redford's character like infiltrating the prison by pretending to be a prisoner would have happened in this, but
I don't know. I've seen Undercover Boss, so I believe it.
It's funny though, because it's like the first act of the movie pretty much is just him pretending to be a prisoner and seeing all the horrible shit that was going on in the prison. And then Morgan Freeman going nuts is the thing that breaks him out and makes him tell everybody that he's the warden, which is like, I'm sure they were all just about to shoot him, but they were like, oh, he's the warden. Okay. Sure, that tracks. I don't know. So weird. Anyways, with all that being said, here's a quick breakdown. In 1969, Henry Brubaker arrives incognito at Wakefield State Prison in Arkansas, posing as an inmate to investigate the institution's conditions firsthand. He quickly observes rampant abuse, maggot-infested food, overcrowded and unsanitary living quarters, systemic sexual assault, and a corrupt hierarchy where trusted inmates wield power over others. During a sanitation detail, Brubaker witnesses inmate Larry Lee Bolin being beaten, and later a disturbed prisoner named Walter takes Bolin hostage, demanding to speak with the warden. Brubaker intervenes, calming Walter and revealing his true identity as the new warden, which is even like, I don't know, suspending disbelief. I felt like he was 2 seconds away from being killed, and he's just like, no, I'm the warden. I don't know.
That would get everyone to stop.
That'll get everybody to not kill you. This revelation shocks both inmates and staff, setting the stage for his reform agenda. Assuming official control, Brubaker begins overhauling the prison's operations. He fires the corrupt bookkeeper and the doctor who charged inmates for medical services. He dismantles unauthorized facilities, including a pleasure shack occupied by influential trustee Huey Roch and his girlfriend. Brubaker also ends exploitative labor practices, refusing to provide free inmate labor to local businesses, notably confronting contractor C.P. Woodward over shoddy construction and misuse of prison labor. Very similar to what happened in Shawshank Redemption, which I think was also based on this book. Kind of talking about how they basically turned inmates into slaves, which is honestly still going on. It's basically like the prison system is sort of a new form of slavery. But, they make $1 per
They
day.
get paid. Slaves never got paid.
That's true. Except in Egypt,
What?
allegedly.
What?
In Egypt.
Oh, they weren't actually. Well, they think now they weren't slaves in Egypt.
They don't think they were.
They were
Yeah.
serfs,
When I was in
basically.
Egypt, they told me, like, we said something about, like, them, it's insane what, forced labor can do. And the guy who was like our tour guide was like, absolutely not. It was not forced labor. It was, they were paid. They were taken care of. Like he lost his shit.
He's probably just tired of hearing that. I mean, yes, they did avoid slaves, but the modern, I guess, historical interpretation is that there's no way there would have been enough slaves to get that amount of work done. So it was it was more like the civil service. Like, in medieval times, everybody had to volunteer for the levy if there was ever an army and stuff. Like in Egypt, they had to spend the months of the year that they weren't farming, spending a few months hauling blocks to build a pyramid. And then they went back to their farms.
Yeah. Or if you think about modern times, a few rich people at the top could just basically make everybody else slaves.
Yeah. Or one way or the other.
Cut to 2030. Sorry. Anyways, to foster inmate involvement, Brubaker establishes a council comprising selected prisoners, including trustees Dickie Coombs and Eddie Caldwell. However, tensions rise when elderly inmate Abraham Cook confides in Brubaker about being forced to build coffins for murdered prisoners. Shortly after, Abraham is tortured and killed by trustees, signaling the dangerous pushback against Brubaker's reforms.
Sounds very uplifting.
Yeah, it's a really happy movie. Determined to expose the prison's dark secrets, Brubaker orders excavations based on Abraham's information, uncovering unmarked graves of inmates who died under suspicious circumstances. This discovery alarms state officials, including Senator Charles Height and Governor's aide Lily Gray, who urged Brubaker to cease investigations in exchange for funding and support. Brubaker refuses, prioritizing justice over political expediency. The situation escalates when Roch, implicated in Abraham's death, escapes the prison. During a pursuit led by Brubaker and his team, a shootout ensues, resulting in the death of both Roch and Bullen. This incident provides the prison board with grounds to dismiss Brubaker, citing the violence as a consequence of his disruptive reforms. At a subsequent hearing, Brubaker confronts the prison board, sarcastically suggesting that executing inmates would be more cost-effective than maintaining the corrupt prison system. His remarks underscore the systemic indifference to inmate welfare. And despite pleas from Lillian Gray to compromise, Brubaker remains steadfast, unwilling to condone or conceal institutional murder. As Brubaker departs Wakefield Prison, replaced by the hardline warden Rory Polk, inmate Dickie Coombs initiates a slow clap, which is so stupid, by the way, joined by others. This is where I think Nick is in this scene. In a silent tribute to Brubaker's integrity and efforts. A closing title card reveals that 2 years later, inmates led by Coombs filed a lawsuit, resulting in a court ruling that deemed the prison's treatment of inmates unconstitutional, mandating reforms or closure. The governor associated with the prison's prior conditions was not reelected. Like I said, this is the only spot I feel like Nick could be in. And I took a couple of screen grabs that I will send your way. First picture is the guy who's like in full frame on the left-hand side. Way back in the back, there's one strapping, tall, blonde man who looks like it could be Nick Cage.
I mean, how the hell are you supposed to be able to make out any of those faces?
Yeah.
I see who you're talking about, but
About this one?
That's so vague.
No.
No, he's way back.
To the... in the background, way in the background, next to the guy with the white hat behind him, on that guy's right shoulder.
Oh, that?
Yep. That guy. Yeah. That's the only, I mean, if it would be 16, I don't know.
Right.
That guy does not look 16.
No. He looks kind of like Cage when he was in his early 20s, but that seems way too. Yeah, I don't know if he was that tall and built when he was 16, but who knows?
Who knows? And then the other one, there's a guy clapping, kind of right in center frame off to the left.
Oh, yeah.
You see him?
Mm-hmm.
That guy?
Yep, that guy. That kind of looks like it could be Nick as well.
Yeah, that looks like a teenager.
I don't know, man. I'm not even 100% sold that he's in this film.
I mean, even the guy in the back.
Yeah, there's another guy in the back.
The guns and the sleeveless thing kind of looks like him in like a couple of years later in Fast Time or
The Best of Times.
Best of Times.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that was.
Oh, Best of Times was a year after this one.
Yeah.
And
but this was filmed in 78 and 79. So
was it? Okay.
Best of Times was probably, I think, filmed in 81 and then released in 81. So
yeah. Anyways, I've never found I haven't been able to find like a credible source from where the information came from. It does kind of make sense that he might be in this film just because Robert Redford was a family friend, but I don't know, man. I can't find him anywhere. And One Cage at a time, or One Cage Podcast at gmail.com. If you can find Nick Cage in this movie, if you can be the one person on the internet who's managed to do it, we would love that. Or if you could shed some light on where the information came from of why people think that he's even in this movie.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's actually probably of the 5 bit part movies that we're going to be talking about, I would say this is probably the best film out of all of them. So there's that anyway. At least I enjoyed watching it. That's it for this episode of One Cage at a Time. As always, be sure to drop us an email at onecagepodcast@gmail.com to let us know if we missed anything, like where Nick is, or hit us up with suggestions to improve the show, comments, compliments, or simply to gush about the guy who may or may not have been in this movie. Next up, we'll be watching a movie that Nick is definitely in, though he sadly has no lines whatsoever. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout these movies. The 1982 classic coming-of-age film, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Nick plays Brad's bud, according to the official credits, and shows up a handful of times in the background of scenes. If you look for him, you'll see him quite a few times, actually. I guess they saw him in Best of Times, and they decided not to let him speak, though. So
it looks good.
He looks good. He's a good background guy. Anyways, make sure to check it out wherever fine films are sold or on your streaming service of choice. Until then, we'll say goodbye the way we do each and every episode with our Nicolas Cage quote of the film. But since he doesn't speak nor officially appear in this film, we'll just play you our favorite quote of the film.
I don't believe men like you. You're dangerous, man. You start wars and you let other people fight them. You come in here and you talk about do this, do that, think this way, be this way. You stick a sign in some poor fool's hand and you say, follow me around. I got the whole thing figured out so we can change things for the better. Well, that's a lot of bullshit. There's only one thing you do, and that's get people killed.
Thanks for listening to One Cage at a Time. Visit us online at onecageatatime.com or follow us on the social media platform of your choice for more Nicolas Cage goodness. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you really like the show, become a member of our Patreon where you can download unedited and ad-free episodes, as well as listen to our follow-up show, Back Into the Cage, where we re-examine each movie to discuss what we missed the first time around, answer listener questions, and wax poetic about the man, the myth, the legend that is Nicolas Cage.
Some fucking respect around here. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. I know what it means to me. But you want little respect. But you need little respect. All I'm asking for a little respect when you come home. Baby, when you come home. Thank you.
Hey. We talk?
Who the fuck are you?